Tonight, the minority in Parliament has deepened their resolve to get to the bottom of the allegations of drug trafficking as they write to the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps to intervene in the ongoing controversies surrounding the alleged suspicious flights from Gran Canaria. Now, that flight landed in Kotoka International Airport, as you may be aware. In a statement issued a while ago and signed by the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the minority appealed to the diplomatic community to support Ghana and our authorities in investigating the alleged landing of these two air-med flights and also Kavok Air cargo flights that reportedly transported suspicious illicit drugs and money into the country. Well, on your screens now is that statement from Samuel Abujinapo, his member of parliament for Damango constituency. He's also ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. It reads that since the issue of these flights allegedly carrying illicit drugs and money was made public by the minority caucus in parliament, there has been several calls by well-meaning Ghanaians, patriotics, they say, and concerned Ghanaians, security experts, as well as the international community, urging the government of Ghana to thoroughly investigate the matter. It goes on to say that the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in particular has expressed keen interest in the matter and called for thorough investigations. According to UNODC, quote, any allegations of such a case should be properly investigated and prosecuted. Unfortunately, the statement goes on to say it does appear from the responses that government has given since the matter became public that government is not interested in investigating the matter. Well, the Deputy Director General of the Narcotics Control Commission of Ghana, Alexander Chumberima, says there is no need to bring the international community into this matter. He spoke earlier on the AM show.
Since the flight, upon it being checked, there was nothing positive on it, but everything was negative. There's no need to communicate anything.
No.
No, there's no need to communicate anything.
The Reverend pointed
his point that he's saying is baseless. You see, I don't want to be very hard on him. He's baseless. It's baseless person that I have been a police officer before, and I'm a lawyer. You don't just come out and start putting things out there without substantiating everything that you are saying. You said that everything, you are now, even this one as I was coming, I saw on the front page of I think Daily Guide also, that the video that Felix showed is staged. So where is the video that contradicts what Felix showed? Are you able to prove to us or to give us anything? The answer is no. So, then you are taking everybody, on this kind of rampage or
exactly.
So the question really is because we are entertaining him. That's how I see it.
Well, he, however, revealed that if Reverend Intim Fojo continues the information without evidence, the government will be tempted to arrest him.
How did he get to know that the 150 million part of the cocaine is for an NDC candidate? Because the thing was arrested in bulk.
I'm sure Intim Fojo's response would be intelligence.
This thing is getting...
Okay.
You see, that's what I'm saying, that he will leave us with no option than to arrest him. Because this kind of thing that he's saying, I don't get it. All NDC parliamentary candidates, they have names. Who is that candidate? Where is he? Which constituency did he or she contest? Why can't you tell us this? You see, he has decided to deal with the public and not to deal with the agencies. He preferred that he can be, washing his dirty linens to the public. Instead of meeting the appropriate agencies who can do arrests, who can do investigations, who can do prosecutions. He doesn't want them to do it. He wants the general public who cannot go and arrest to rather hear the matter.
While Reverend Intim Fojo is calling for a commission of inquiry into the development, he has been writing this on his X account, and that is coming up on your screens right now. It says that we demand commission of inquiry to be established to probe the suspicious Gran Canaria Flights Saga, and that is on his social media handle X. Verified account, by the way. Well, let me bring in the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. Thank you so much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. Now, if there is information that will help the security agencies As a political party, you have an interest in this. Why don't you make it available to the necessary organizations in charge of this so that we can bring some sort of finality to the issue? Why are we always resorting to the media and social media like the government is complaining?
Thank you very much, Hosti. I wish this question was also asked the Minister for Justice, who has decided to prosecute his cases in the public court of opinion. However, I want to put this particular point on record. It is important for us all to distinguish between the act of providing information or raising an alarm about potential criminal activity and the legal burden of proof that is required in the legal proceedings. What the deputy director is talking about and his reference to he being a lawyer clearly tells you that even in the state apparatus, that is why we have prosecution units that are responsible for investigation, the CID, the NIB, and other investigative bodies, including the special prosecutor. So whilst we have the prosecution and we have the law court, there is somebody that provides information and there is another person that provides the information. So a person, including a member of parliament, has the civic duty to bring to the attention of the appropriate authorities any information that suggests possible criminal conduct. And such information is often based on suspicion. It's also based on intelligence or circumstantial evidence. So once Reverend Ntimfojua is basing on this particular point, there is no law that says that if you are providing information based on suspicion or circumstantial evidence, that you should provide the legal proof of evidence to its conclusion. What then becomes the work of the investigative body? So it is for the investigative body to take up this particular matter and look into it and make sure that you find out the questions that you ask yourself. Did the two flights land in Ghana or not? Yes. Why was the NACOT, he himself, the security man sitting in there and providing information or granting the interview? Why were those silent and asking and allowed government to be peddling falsehoods? I want to put it to him that if there is going to be any arrest at all, it should be Felix Kwachi who should be arrested because he's giving us false information. He's questioning the source and the approval of the different video if you think that something was wrong. I'm asking a question. When in this country that a flight would land, a foreign flight, you will see crew, a big crew standing in there with the jacket and they are taking video of that. Clearly,
well point noted though, but are you saying that Reverend Ntimfojua is making all these allegations just based on suspicion? There's no substantive evidence, really? Is that the case?
You see, Reverend Ntimfojua has provided enough evidence. It is left with the security agencies. Why are they showing disinterest?
Provided evidence to which security agency, to be precise?
One, if the security agencies did not know that the flight had landed, it's clear that Reverend Ntimfojua has provided the fact that these flights have landed. They have stayed in the country for 5 good days. Another flight has stayed in the country for 13 good days. We have been told that another flight came and left together with the other flight, which is also not true. He has provided another information, which is relative to fly away, where the date and the departure and whatever, that is the maintenance log. All these things have been provided. It is left with the security agencies to pick this particular matter up and investigate further, interrogate these particular matters, rather than sitting down and saying that we would have to arrest. Please, you cannot intimidate us.
But we heard from Bermachu raising concerns that Ntimfojua is not cooperating with the relevant agencies to help provide information which is crucial to investigation, if you agree.
You see, the Ntimfojua has a parliamentary oversight responsibility as a person who is a ranking member on defense and security. He made a request to the House to invite the relevant security agencies to brief Parliament even before Parliament went on recess. They needed to have briefed Parliament on this particular matter. This was an avenue for Parliament to be able to ask the relevant questions, and Ntim Fodua would have put together some of these informations that he has, and the security agencies would have responded. Was it so difficult for the security agencies, let's say the Aviation Authority, the NACOP, to have reported to us that after we had done a search, this is what we have found? But they rather left that to government communication.
Okay.
To be responding to these particular allegations and bringing in information that is irrelevant and does not tally with what we have in the international record of the flights. That is wrong.
Thank you, Haruna Idrisu. He is Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. We appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. But still on this issue, let me bring in an international relations expert, Dr. Ishmael Hovo. Thank you so much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. I just want to get your thoughts, really. The minority is escalating this matter. They are seeking diplomatic assistance to bring an end and finality to this case. Is that the right channel to explore at this time, especially when the president has already issued a directive that the necessary bodies should investigate the matter?
Good evening, and thank you for your question. I believe that this is not the best option they have, although it's one of the options that is open to them, and they decided to use it. But it's not the best option that they should be using, given the fact that even in the recent past, the MPP itself had cause to complain about diplomatic corps interfering in the domestic affairs of Ghana. So when you play your politics like this, often run into the diplomatic corps, and they start to meddle in your affairs, and then you turn around and complain, that is not fair to the diplomatic corps. But to the substantive issue, if you look at the demands they are making from the diplomatic corps, it suggests that they don't have adequate evidence, even if the security agencies are willing to investigate the matter, to help the security agencies investigate the matter. Because if you say those, the diplomatic corps should help with evidence, any evidence that they may have concerning those flights, so that they can, the state can investigate. That should suggest that then you are not having adequate evidence to back some of the claims. So when this issue started, the evidence is not so solid, but of course, he as a ranking member, he has the right to raise suspicion. And I think that when the president directed that he should cooperate with the security agencies to investigate the matter, I was expecting that the security agencies will take the matter up, and then by now some finality will have brought it. But it has become a political game. But you see, when we play our politics like this, we endanger the image of Ghana. Because either you are NPP or NDC, we have Ghana to build, we have Ghana to promote. So if you write to the diplomatic corps and believe that your government is not fighting drugs, is not fighting crime, then it goes into the image you are portraying of a nation. You may use it to put political pressure on your opponent, but then when you eventually win power, what happens is that then you are confronted with the same image. It will take time for you to rebrand, and by the time you finish spending resources to rebrand and then clean your international media image, you have wasted resources that you have spent on other useful things trying to clean your image.
So if I get you right, Ghana's international image is at stake. But then really, yes, there's a bigger problem if this is anything to go by, the allegations being made by the minority. Let's look at the international process, really. When a process like this is triggered and the diplomatic corps is invited to look into the matter, what will be the process they would take?
The diplomatic corps is not like a headmaster watching over the president of Ghana. That's not how they operate. Of course, when you invite them, they may take the evidence or the request that you have, and they may pass it to their home government who have interest in Ghana. And if they look at it and they believe that that is an issue of interest to them, then their home government may put pressures on the government of Ghana to take steps to remedy whatever they think is not appropriate. So yes, the pressures they will bring to bear on Ghana may be that there may be more scrutiny of Ghanaian flight coming from Ghana, because then there's suspicion that your government is not ready to fight drugs and crimes. And of course, they may also engage the government officials directly to try and see how they can bring influence to bear on the government commission and investigation to the matter. But apart from this, it's not like they are headmasters over the state of Ghana, that when you report to them immediately, they will call the president and the president will take action. It's still left with the independence of Ghana to decide the course of action to take.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. Now, away from that, after facing public backlash for calling for the deportation of foreigners involved in illegal mining, the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, is doubling down. Mr. Mubarak Mohammed Muntaka is today instructing the Ghana Immigration Service to move swiftly against foreign nationals engaged in illegal mining. Now, during an engagement with the service in Kumasi, the minister demanded tighter collaboration with the police and other agencies.
Forest doing either galamsey or cutting our trees, or you are using what people popularly call sakawa or defrauding. For these two, we are not interested in prosecuting you. Our first option is to return you back into your country and put you on the stop list. And you are going to be playing a very, very vital role. I know the police are first to do the arrest, or the military or the national security, and the instruction is that when they do, they should hand them over to you. But because of this, your swiftness in intelligence, we want you to also be proactive. So when they do the arrest, also be proactive to go and demand them, so that it will be faster, instead of you waiting for them to come and hand them over to you before you forward them to Accra. But what we are doing, we are not footing the bill of repatriating them in our country. I've told all the embassies, you do it yourself. So once we get them, I mean, there was one, even Ugandan. We told the Ugandan embassy that, no, you have to buy the ticket. And they bought the ticket and will return their citizens back to their country.
Meanwhile, some Ghanaians have been reacting to the Interior Minister's directive and what it means exactly to the fight against illegal mining.
Statement that has stirred considerable debate among citizens. The Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak stated that the government is not inclined to pursue legal actions against foreigners involved in illegal mining in Ghana. This decision raises questions about the government's commitment to eradicate illegal mining and protecting the country's natural resources. Let's hear what the citizens have to say.
I don't buy into his ideas, because you can't just arrest someone without any prosecution and you just deport the person. We've had an instance whereby one Chinese called Aisha Wan was being arrested, and we heard it in the news that he has been deported, of which she was not being deported, but rather she was being in a hideout in someone's house at East Legon.
They should just send them back. Putting them in prison is, waste of time and waste of money. Because the government will also spend some money on them whilst in prison, feeding them and other things. So they should just deport them from to their country.
When we imprison them, we will feed them. When the American president said everyone should go back to their countries, they did. So, if we arrest them, they should go back to their countries. When blacks go to their countries and are arrested, what do they do to them? Why won't you prosecute someone who has committed a crime in your country?
While some agree with Interior Minister's statement, others also say that they should at least be prosecuted before being deported back to their country. Reporting for JoyNews, Erabna Akwe, Kumasi.
The Okada Riders Association has rejected government's proposal to restrict the legal age of commercial motor riders, popularly known as Okada riders, to at least 25 years. Now, the provision to limit eligibility of riders is part of the new legislative instrument being drafted to amend the existing road traffic regulations to 2012, I beg your pardon, which is LI 2180. Now, this was revealed during a consultative engagement between the Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikpe and stakeholders, including the Okada riders. On your screens now are some key proposals by the association, and it reads that a person shall not ride or operate a commercial motorcycle or tricycle unless that person is employed by or belongs to a licensed Commercial Motorcycle or Tricycle Transport Union, the new provisions proposed. So that's some of the new proposals they're making for that LI that they plan to lay before Parliament, should Parliament reconvene. It goes on to say that, quote, a motorcycle or tricycle for fare-paying passenger services in contravention of such regulation, one commits an offence and is liable to pay a fine of 100 penalty units or to a term of imprisonment or both. Now, let's go live to my colleague James Aveji. He's at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and he has been engaging some of these Okada riders. James, what exactly have they been telling you about this proposed LI?
Because these are persons who are directly or will be directly affected by this LI if it should go through from government, and the indication is that by the time Parliament comes back, they should pass this LI into an act. I have quite a number of them here who are packed here plying their trade. I've been engaging with a number of them who are disagreeing with this call by the proposal we've seen in that LI. Let's talk. What's your name?
Ali Abdurazak.
You have indicated earlier that you disagree with the government proposal.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the age above 25 going, so that one, the plenty of us is under, because some of us is 20 and then 18. So, like if they say 25 and above, some of us will not work. They will not do the work. So that one, so we are begging the government to do it like 18 and above.
From 18 years.
Yeah, and above.
But the concern is that some of the 18 or less than the 25 are not matured, and that's why we have quite a number of accidents on our roads. What about that?
That one, it depends, because even you can be more than, you can be 25 or 30, but you are riding carelessly, you can cause accident. So for that one, I can say, if you are careful, you know, cause accident.
Okay, I see. Let me speak to another rider here. What's your name, sir?
Abdul Walid is my name.
What do you think of this? You agree with government, or you think that it should be reduced, as your friend is saying?
I disagree with the government, though.
Why?
Because the reason is, we the hustlers, a lot of us start from 18 and above. So if they say 25 and above, you know, maybe out of 100, 50% will be qualified and 50% will be sitting in the house.
Okay.
So that one unemployment is still a problem. So if they said 25 and above, it won't work. It won't help us. A lot of us are completed SS around 18, and if you complete and then you don't have anything to do, and your parents will not having anything to support you, you have to come out yourself by the age of 18 and above. So if they say 25, so what are you supposed to be doing from 18 to 25? Within that gap, you know, there's a problem somewhere. There should be, maybe if I'm not having anything to do, I can decide to take other wayward too, who does not support.
So you think that if they do that, those who are 25, less than 25, they will add up to the unemployment rate?
Yes, that one too, it helps. Because a lot of us are less than 25. I can say 80% are less than 25. So if they say they should take it from 25 going, it won't support.
Okay. What's your proposal? What age?
Mine is around 27, 28.
You want them to bring it down, or they should send it up?
They should do it around maybe from 18 to
from
just
18. From 18.
From 18 and above, because that's the maximum age. Okay. Maturity age is 18, so they should just take it that way.
But you promise that whatever it will be, if it is reduced, you would ride carefully on the road to cut down the accident.
That one, it depends. So the carelessness you can prevent everything, but a lot can protect it by legalizing it and then setting certain rules and regulations. If you go by it, then fine. If you don't go by it, then you face the consequences. So for me, it depends the kind of rider you are. Just not everybody that is careless, but the careless, it doesn't matter whether you are young or age, you're grown up. So some people decide to be careless, and no matter what you do, they will still be careless. Okay. So that one, it doesn't, like, it's not just a point.
Really at all. Okay. Foresee, that's the position of a number of the riders here. They think that 18 is okay, especially when government issues licenses to drivers to start driving at 18. Whether you send it to 40 or 35 will not take care of the reckless riding that causes the accident. From the circle here, that's the position of the Okada riders, Faustina.
Thank you, James Aveji, my colleague there, joining us live from Kwame Nkrumah Circle, just engaging some motor riders there. You're still watching JoyNews Prime. We'll be back with more. Please stay tuned in. That's here on JoyNews Prime. To other stories now, the Lands Commission is battling a reputation of corruption and delays in its operation. Well, the sector minister, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, is calling for urgent reforms to win back public trust. He says the Commission's image threatens confidence in Ghana's land system and must be fixed with integrity and digitalization. There's more in this report by Semefa Kwesu.
The Lands Commission has over the years come under intense public criticism for delays, irregularities and alleged corrupt practices in its handling of land documentation and registration. Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa in his address emphasized that changing this narrative is crucial if the country is to attract meaningful investment and ensure fairness in land administration.
Now, despite all the good people here and the hard work, they think that the Lands Commission is one of the most corrupt places in Ghana. I don't believe it. And so there's a lot I want us to share. I don't know how long I'm going to be a minister, but I'm going to wake up every morning and thank God for this opportunity and work with you to make the big difference we can.
He also noted that one of the key steps toward achieving this goal is the full digitalization of the land record system.
The other thing has to do with digitalizing all your documentation and make sure that the systems are all clearly there so the people of Ghana can walk in here happy, get a service within a twinkle of an eye.
The Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission, Surveyor Benjamin Atta, admitted that corruption remains a significant concern within the institution.
It's a perception, yes. And the Lands Commission hasn't run away from the fact that our dealings and our processes lend itself to the possibility of people influencing and staff and other people to be corrupt. So steps are being taken to try and address that.
Meanwhile, the Lands Commission has announced plans to establish dedicated land protection units across the country. The initiative is aimed at curbing the growing trend of encroachment on state lands and properties belonging to public institutions. Semefa Kwesu's report for JoyNews.
15 years after Ghana's national airline collapse, government says it is ready to try again, this time with a private partner. The Transport Minister, Joseph Nipe, says talks are underway to bring the long-grounded national carrier back to life. There's more in this report by Collins Frimpong.
It's been 15 years since Ghana last had a national airline. Government is reigniting hopes of reviving it with the help from the private sector. Past efforts, including deals with aviation giants like Boeing and Egypt Air, never took off despite signing memoranda of understanding and public declarations. President John Mahama has announced a renewed push to get a national carrier back in the skies.
The last attempt by the previous administration to re-establish a national airline has failed. We will reopen a transparent process that will receive expressions of interest to invite competent established partners to work with us to establish a national airline. We believe that an efficient national carrier can help reduce fares on routes where external carriers are currently enjoying a monopoly.
Spanish-based World Aviation Group has already expressed interest in partnering with Ghana, but Transport Minister Joseph Bukari says the country cannot fund this dream alone, citing current economic challenges.
We have received a lot of proposals and we have started hearing those partners. You are aware that we inherited an economy that is challenged. On our own, we cannot establish a national airline. And so we're looking for partnership. And in that, you don't rush to take partners. You take time, do a search over them, and know who they are, their capacities to deliver or to partner with you to be able to bring in a national carrier that will actually fly our flag for a very long time and in comfort. So we're working on the proposal they've submitted. Very soon, we'll shortlist a few of them and see how we are going to take it from that level.
Ghana International Airlines ceased operations in 2010 after sinking into debt and legal trouble. Today, government is betting on partnership, not public spending, to restore the Black Star to the skies. Collins Frimpon's report, read to you.
Let's shift our attention now to the educational sector. At Siru Basic School in the Wa West District, classrooms have become a danger zone, and I'll tell you why. Snakes and scorpions attack both pupils and teachers, while the straw classroom offers little protection. Yet the children keep showing up, determined to learn. Emmanuel Jivenu put a spotlight on their plight in our educational series, Crumbling Start.
Siru is a small rural community in the Wa West district of the Upper West region. Children here love to learn. Their thirst for knowledge is unquenchable, but the school they attend is a reflection of the challenges they face daily.
We don't have a school structure, so most of the classrooms sit under trees. We construct huts almost every time for people to sit and study. Then we don't have much desks for the pupils. As a result of that, some of the students have to sit on the floor since there are no desks for them to sit. And that one creates a lot of discomfort for both the teacher and the learner.
Siru Basic School lacks classrooms and unsafe school grounds. The school is also not benefiting from the National School Feeding Program.
The community during the rainy season have to contribute some foodstuffs, then maybe some cash to buy some of the perishable foodstuffs so that they can prepare for the school.
The situation has forced the community members to help. Every day, different members of the community step in to cook, donating what they can from their farms. Today, 2 women from the village have volunteered to cook yam and stew for the children. The meal is simple, but for these children, it is a lifeline. Without it, many would not have the energy to stay in class.
Today is quite a happy day for them, so because they'll get something to eat. On the menu, we have boiled yam and stew. But if the school foodstuffs finish, we have to wait for another rainy season or harvest season again. And during those times, most of our people stop coming to school.
The classrooms, built with straws and rudimentary materials, have become a haven for reptiles. Snakes, scorpions, and other creatures share space with the pupils, making every day a gamble with nature.
The environment is not child-friendly, to be frank. Every now and then, teachers and pupils are chased out of the class by snakes.
So if you don't look around and then to make sure that there's maybe to check whether something is coming, the time we realize a snake will be in the classroom. So as we are sitting like this, but we are not comfortable. So we are sitting and then we'll look. Some more time we'll just check around whether there's something coming or there's nothing coming.
Cyril Basic School's cry for help is not just a call for infrastructure. It is a call for the future of Ghana's children. The time to act is now. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News.
Now, for years, children in Anomatwa walked 3 kilometers to access education. Some arrived soaked, others exhausted, but they never gave up. Now their long walk is over. A new 3-unit junior high school block built by Be Kind Life Ghana Foundation with support from the Australian High Commission now stands in their community, bringing comfort and hope right to their doorstep. There's more in this report by Anas Sabit.
For decades, children in the farming community of Anomatwa have embarked on this grueling 3-kilometer journey daily just to access junior high school education, and for generations, families here face an impossible choice: risk the exhausting walk to Forikrum or abandon education after primary school. Also, Kwatin Philip is the headmaster of the Anomatwa Basic School.
For many years, our school has faced numerous challenges, including lack of or inadequate classrooms. This challenge made teaching and learning very difficult.
This is where this decades-long suffering ends, as the Be Kind Life Ghana, with support from the Australian High Commission Ghana, is unveiling this transformative classroom block, marking a new path, one of hope, opportunity, and a brighter future. Chief Executive Officer of the Foundation, Amankwa Amiel Prince, shares with us the genesis of this life-changing project.
So it was a pressing need, and the children, the male children, were being true ones from school because the school is not in the community, so they have nobody just looking at them. And the women, the girls too, are being impregnated by other boys in that community. So we took it upon us to build this facility.
Candice Hooper is the second secretary at the Australian High Commission Ghana.
As Prince mentioned, over 2 years ago we received an application for this classroom block because of the long distance that students had to travel in order to get to school. We're very pleased to support the project because of Australia's support for inclusive education for all.
From dusty past to decks of promise, Anomatwa's children are finally home. Anas Sabit, Joy News, Anomatwa.
She once cried out for help, and the nation heard her. Cancer patient Ibrahim Mahama touched thousands. Yaria has been touched by Ibrahim Mahama because he has donated thousands to help her. Now she has also received some 300,000 lifeline treatment, and that is helping her get back on her feet. Well, Irama has all the report and all the details coming your way.
Two years ago, these were tears of sorrow. Today, they are tears of hope.
40,000 Ghana cedis to cover up for the rest of the money needed to purchase the medication. And then you have a cash of 10,000 for your expenses.
Yairam Ibrahim Mariama shared the story with the world, and the world responded.
People like you, I don't think it should be this way. But all the same, I'm grateful for everything.
A story aired on JoyNews, and in just a few weeks, support poured in. She received 147,000 cedis from benevolent individuals. Then came a life-changing gesture. businessman and philanthropist Alhaji Prince donated 140,000 cedis for her treatment and an additional 10,000 cedis to support her during the difficult months ahead.
Today, we are making a donation of 140,000 Ghana cedis, so you can raise up to the 300,000 needed. We also have his assurance that as and when we proceed with the treatment, if there is need to come in and support more, he is more than willing to support.
The journey has not been easy. She's already endured grueling treatment after her breast cancer spread to her brain. And now, with 300,000 cedis raised, she's preparing to restart treatment with new hope.
I hope for the donation. I'm very grateful, and I know it will take me to get treatment.
From tears of despair to tears of gratitude, Yeriram's fight is not yet over. But now, she's no longer fighting alone. Irama's report for JoyNews.
Indeed gets results. We wish her all the best, Ibrahim Mariama, as she goes on to have that surgery. And you can still send your donation. You can walk into Joy FM if you want to support her with anything post the surgery procedure. Well, we'll be back with Showbiz. Please stay tuned in.